Lily Lovebraids, Identity, Punishment, and Mental Decline. Lily Lovebraids, introduced in Chapter 5, may seem strange and unstable on the surface, but when the notes and tape recordings found in the episode are examined, her story takes on a deeply dark and tragic nature. In this analysis, we will discuss chronologically who Lily is, how she was created, and what her role in the game represents. 1. Experiment 1468, Creation Plan. In a laboratory note, dated August 6th, 1995, Lily is referred to as Experiment 1468. This document contains technical details regarding her creation process. The initial design plan stated that the hair was envisioned as a structure consisting of finger bones and muscle tissue. However, this idea was later changed. Instead, it was decided to use horsehair, artificial bone structures, and various biological materials. The most critical point is this. The document states that neural integration protocols are promising, and that Lily's mind will be able to control every strand of hair as if it were one of her own limbs. In other words, braided hair is not only aesthetic, it is an extension directly connected to the nervous system and controlled consciously. The operation was scheduled for August 20th, 1995. However, due to the Joy Day incidents, the factory's workforce disappeared. This raises the question: if the operation failed, how did Lily come into existence? 2. Miss Gracie, Identity and Punishment. The answer emerges on a tape recording. In a recording made after Joy Day, we see Playtime employee Miss Gracie hiding from the experiments. They try to break down the experiment's door and tell her they have a very special plan. It is important who Miss Gracie was. She was the person who directed the conditioning videos aimed at making children forget their identities. In other words, she played an active role in the mental manipulation process of children who were turned into toys. At this point, a strong inference is made. Miss Gracie was caught and punished. Considering the plans for Experiment 1468 and the vocal similarity, it appears that Miss Gracie was transformed into Lily Lovebraids. In other words, Lily was once human and was part of the system that stripped children of their identities. Now, they have become victims of the same system. 3. Identity Crisis, Conditioning Room. In another tape recording, we see Lily watching her own old videos in the conditioning room. What stands out here is Lily speaking in her own voice. It sounds like there are two consciousnesses in the recording. One side is trying to suppress the Miss Gracie identity. The other side is being forced to accept the toy identity. You are a toy. You always were a toy. This dialogue shows that Lily is mentally divided into two parts. Miss Gracie's consciousness has not been completely erased. However, it is being suppressed by her toy identity. The name of the tape: 96 Isolation Day 122. So, Lily was kept in isolation for at least 122 days. 4. The prototype's punishment: 410 days of isolation. On another note, it states that the prototype isolated Lily for 410 days. The reason is clear. Prototype knows Lily's past crimes. He views her as one of those responsible for the conditioning imposed on the other experiments. The note contains the following statement: that child is naive and unaware of his crimes. He will not be allowed to join us. He will not be given a quick death. This is a very critical detail because in the Poppy Playtime universe, toys do not die unless they are destroyed or starved. So the punishment given to Lily is, theoretically, eternal loneliness and mental breakdown. At this point, Lily is no longer merely an experiment, she is an entity consciously punished by the system. 5. Sweet Street, the fake house experiment. Lily later moves into an artificial house called Sweet Street. This place is actually an observation area. Scientists aim to calm the animals down by setting up the experiments in an environment similar to their home. At first, the animals try to escape and act restless, but over months they begin to think of this place as their real home. The breaking point is this: if it is discovered that this fake environment is an illusion, the system will collapse. Lily is here trying to cope with loneliness. It is clearly evident in her diaries that she has lost her identity. It calls itself different names: Lily, Billy, Silly Tilly. I'm a good toy, I dance, I sing. However, in the same text, it says this: why does everyone fear me? They look at me like a bad toy. This is an indication that you're beginning to lose your identity completely. 6. The collapse, the madness behind the image. Lily covers the hole in the wall in her house with a poster. This detail is important because the player exits the game by burning that poster. This symbolizes Lily's effort to cover up the truth, both physically and mentally. Additionally, she keeps the skeleton of her former body in her bedroom and talks to it. This is one of the darkest signs indicating that the Miss Gracie identity has not completely vanished. Now, Lily's mind is torn in two, trapped between her past identity and her toy identity. 7. The final, the party and the fall. In the game, Lily is preparing a party for Prototype. She still has the desire to have friends. She wants to end her loneliness. But Prototype ruins the party and destroys Lily's sugar daddy. Out of anger, Lily begins chasing the player. Eventually, she falls off the platform and dies. Although it may seem like a satisfying ending at first glance, this scene takes on a tragic significance when one considers the 410-day isolation, identity crisis, and mental breakdown in the background. Conclusion: Lily Lovebraids represents three things: the forced transformation of human consciousness, the disintegration of identity, the endless loneliness imposed as punishment. She's not just a boss character, she's a perpetrator who became a victim of the system. Once upon a time, she was a figure who stripped children of their identity. In the end, she lost his own identity. And perhaps the darkest question is this: did Lily really die?